dear students, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about present perfect and present perfect progressive. Actually, today's topic is past perfect, but I want to do a quick review of them, give a few examples more, and then we will go straight with past perfect. Now, we said that I can do like this, present perfect and present perfect progressive. In here, we said that the actions happened and ended in the past, but we can see the action's effects, its effects or influence. And we said that we also use present perfect to talk about experiences or actions that aren't over yet. And our timeline here was like this. This is now, this is where the action happened and it ended there, but we can see the effects. In the meanwhile, while we're talking about present perfect progressive, we said that the action started in the past, began in the past, and it is still happening. And we showed it on the timeline like this. It started here and continued, and it's still going on. A few more examples. I have graduated high school. This means that the action happened and it's over, but it's both an experience and an action that its effects are visible in today. So I used present perfect. And let's remember how we used our verb in verb 3 form. And only have according to our subject, or it can be has if our subject is he, she, it. She hasn't done her homework yet. I know that I gave that example, but I want you to remember and pay attention to how we use yet. At the end of the sentence, and with negative or question sentences. And it gave the meaning to the sentence that the action didn't happen, but it is planned or it is meant to be happen. I used hasn't because of my subject. Done, verb 3. This is an irregular verb. Do, did, done. We know that. And we can assume that it will be done. We asked with present perfect progressive, how long have you been teaching English? We talked about this. We said that we use verb ing and we use have been or has been. And in question form, we take have or has in the beginning of my sentence if there's not a WH question. And then my subject, been, and verb ing. I can answer like, I have been teaching English for 5 years. My subjects have been, because of my subject, my verb ing, and there is for, because I'm asking in the question that the duration of that action. There's only one answer for that. We can say the duration, time, for how long I did it, and that's it. This is not a yes/no question. How long has she been traveling the world? She has been traveling the world since 2009. I used has been again because of my subject. Traveling, my verb ing, and I gave my duration. She started traveling the world in 2009, and the action of traveling the world is still going on. It never stopped. Have you talked to her? This is a yes/no question. Yes, I have talked to her. I can add already between I and have. I already, sorry, not here. I have already talked to her. Or I can say, no, I haven't talked to her. I can, this is okay, this is a good answer, but I can also add yet. Because if this is a question, if this question is asked, then it means that it has been spoken before, it's something maybe planned, and that's why I can use yet. Now let's see past perfect. You may ask, what is past perfect and why do we use it? How do we use it? Actually, there's a saying in Turkish, geçmişin geçmişi. I want you to think of past perfect as it consists of actions happened before past simple. This is past simple and this is past perfect. In timeline, it happened, past perfect happened, way before past simple. Why do we use it? We use it when we want to tell, express an action, a happening, something that happened before past simple. Actions that took place before past simple. Or if I want to make a comparison about which of the actions happened first or later in the past. Which one happened before it or after it? We are again comparing the timeline of past simple, past happenings. And how do we use it? We use it like this: subject, had, and verb 3. Doesn't matter the object, not like in present perfect. My subject doesn't matter. I always put had and verb 3. For example, I had eaten breakfast before I went to school. There are two actions occurred in the past. One of them happened first, and the other one happened after. I had eaten breakfast before I went to school. I can understand both from before and grammatical structure of past perfect and past simple here that this one happened first. Me eating breakfast happened first. This is now, this is here. I ate my breakfast. And here, I went to school. This is why we use it, past perfect, to understand which one happened. They both happened in the past, but which one happened first or after the other one. After I had gone to the doctor, I went to pharmacy. Which one happened first? I see after. After I did this, I did this. I can again both understand from after and tenses. This is past perfect and this is past simple. My timeline, this is gone to doctor. This is went to pharmacy. I have to use verb to in here where I don't use past perfect because it's past simple and it happened in the past, but I don't want you to get confused. And remember to use verb to in the past when we are talking about the action that happened last. I'm looking at here, it doesn't matter which subject I use in the sentence. This is my had, this is verb 3, go, went, gone, and this is how our timeline worked. She hadn't called me before she came to visit me. Now, this is a negative sentence. How I make negative sentences, as you can see here in past perfect, I only turn had into hadn't, and that's it. Again, subject doesn't matter. She hadn't called me before she came to visit me. Again, I see before, I see past simple here and past perfect here, so I can understand that she hadn't called me happened before, way before she came to visit me. My sister had shopped before going before. This is also right, but I don't want to confuse you. That's why before. That's why I'm going to use another example. Before she went to, I don't know, London. My sister had shopped. Again, I have before here. Which one is the first action and which one happened last? I see past perfect here. I see had and my verb 3. And here I see verb 2. That's why I can understand that my sister shopping happened here, and here she went to London. This is the main thing, the main usage of past perfect. Also, we can talk about past perfect with past perfect. Sorry, two actions that happened in past perfect. By the time is an important time phrase when we use past perfect. By the time I entered the house, he had already gone. Now I have to translate this sentence to Turkish because I want you to understand better. Eve girdiğimde o çoktan gitmişti. Yani burada onun çoktan gitmesi benim eve girmemden daha önce gerçekleşen bir olay. That's why we call it geçmişin geçmişi. And after by the time I use past simple. And here I entered home. But before that, he was gone. He was gone. This is my timeline in this sentence. By the time I arrived at train station, the train was gone. The train, had already gone. By the time I arrived at train station, but before I arrived, the train was already gone. So I can understand that this one happened after this action. Me arriving train station, and this is when train took off. By the time I came home, it had been rubbed. This is when I came home. I came home here. This is when the robbing happened. The house was robbed. One or two more examples. By the time she called me to cancel our plans, I had already gotten on the car. This is when she called me. To cancel our plan. But this is when I was on car already. So we can use by the time when we are too late for something, but it already happened, so we cannot catch it again. By the time I was born, my mom had already given my name or decided my name. This is when I was born. I born here. And here, my mom decided my name. And now we are going to make more examples, give more examples. including present perfect progressive, past perfect, and some past simple. I graduated from university in 2006. Now, if I want to remake that sentence in present perfect, could I use here? Or imagine that you are in an exam and you have seen this, and here is a blank. And it wants you to choose a tense. If you saw an exact date like this, you have to use past simple. But if you see since, for example, 2006, here you have to use present perfect. Or maybe in another sentence, it can be present perfect progressive. It depends on the sentence. She has worked for this company for 8 years. You can say that, it may be confusing, that we can also remake that sentence with exact meaning, with exact verbs, and for 8 years in perfect progressive. This is an exception. This is also when we're talking about an action started in the past and still is going on, we can also use present perfect alongside present perfect progressive. These are all correct. These two are both correct. She has been working for this company for 8 years. You can use both. They're both correct. Has she ever seen an elephant before? This is a question I made using present perfect. I use ever. If I see ever in a question and I want to give a negative answer, I use no, she has never seen an elephant before. Maybe I want to give a positive answer. Maybe she has seen it. I say, yes, she has already seen an elephant before. I can use already, but it makes sense without already as well. So it's up to you. But I have to use it either this one or no, she hasn't seen an elephant before. Or I have to use this. Either one of these forms, it's up to you to pick. Have they ever traveled to China? yes, they have already, or without already, as I said, it's up to you. Yes, they have already traveled to China. A negative answer, no, they haven't traveled to China, or no, they have never traveled to China. By the time she got married, she had already turned 30. I'm looking at here, I saw by the time. I use specifically by the time and only for past perfect. So I can assume that there will be a past perfect tense in this sentence. Her getting married happened here. She got married. And here she turned 30. This happened before she got married. They both happened in the past. I was trying to call you when you came to my house. While using present past simple, and past continuous, we are talking about actions that are happening at the same time or interrupting each other. So don't get confused while using past perfect, because we use it before past simple. In past simple and past continuous, they are happening together or interrupting each other. I'm looking at here, I was trying to call you. Was gördüm burada. My subject is I. Verb ing, I can definitely say that this tense is past continuous. There is when I can understand that I am sure that there will be a past simple sentence. You came, verb to my house. Which one is the long action? This one, I was trying to call you, is the long action. When you came, it interrupted it. Or I can say here. That is better. I was trying to call you when you came. This is where you came. This is the long action. And this is the short one. Or, as we said before, we can talk about two long actions in the past together. While I was studying for my finals, my sister was cooking dinner. They are both long actions. And both are happening at the same time in the past. What were you doing? What were you doing yesterday at 7? This is a past continuous question built with a WH question. I was having shower yesterday at 7. How long has she been a designer? She has been a designer since 2001, or I can say for 12 years. She started her job being a designer in 2001. Here is now. And still, she is still a designer. It kept going throughout that time. Had you washed your hands before you had dinner? Again, I see past perfect and past simple in this sentence. In a question form this time, had you washed your hands before you had dinner? I can answer, yes, I had washed my hands before I had my dinner. And we can show it like this sentence on timeline. Here, I washed my hands. And here, I had dinner. Had she called you before she saw you? Again, I see past perfect and past simple in the same sentence, and I see a before here, and this sentence is in question form. I want to say, no, she hadn't called me before she saw me. This is a negative sentence. It didn't happen, but as a sentence structure, and to compare when these two actions happened, I want to show you on timeline. She hadn't called me here, and here she saw me. This one happened before. This one happened after this. Maybe you noticed that after before we use past simple, and after we use past perfect. For example, after he had sold his house, he moved in to his parents' house. Which one happened first? Him selling his house happened first, and then he moved into his parents' house. He sold his house, and here moved in his parents' house. And if I wanted to remake this sentence using before, how could I do it? Before, let me clean here. I'm going to give the same meaning, rewrite the same sentence, but I'm going to use before this time. Before he moved in to his parents' house, comma, he had sold his house. Sold his house. We were chatting when Mom entered my room. I'm looking at here, I see past continuous. Past continuous. We use the verb because of my subject. There's my verb ing, and after when, a short action. And we see past simple as well. This is long action. This is now. They both happened at the past, but we were chatting when Mom entered my room. It's interrupted short action. Interrupted the long action. My mom entering my room interrupted us chatting. Have you seen Gloria's new hair? Present perfect. Yes, I have already seen her new hair. Or if it's a negative answer, no, I haven't seen her hair yet. It's a negative sentence, so I'm allowed to use yet at the end of my sentence. Have you Have you arrived Paris yet? We talked about it. Yet can be also used in questions alongside negative questions. Yes, I have already arrived in Paris. Or, no, I haven't arrived Paris yet. By the time I broke my leg, I had finished my essay. After by the time, we used verb to, which means past simple. And after comma, my second sentence will get past perfect. And looking at the timeline, I finished my essay here, me finishing my essay. And here, I broke my leg. This one happened before. And our last examples, before you visited Ali, I had already visited him. I used past simple, verb to, after before, and after the comma, I used past perfect. Which one happened first? Me visiting him. I visited Ali here, and this is now, and you visited Ali. I want to remake the same sentence using after. After I had visited Ali, you visited him. They both give the same meaning. They mean the same, they are the same. We can both use them. And our last example for today, she called me after her accident. Now, you cannot see a past perfect tense in here, but what you can understand from that sentence, thanks to after, car accidents happened here, and she called me here. So, you don't necessarily need past perfect in order to understand or give information about which action happened first or last in the past. Okay guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it and understood it. I want you to study and review what we learned today. I hope you take care of yourself. See you next week.